USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA. Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that Killa Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangster Chronicles. Ew.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Ew.
Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the James.
So it seems like the premise deals with California period as a whole. And I'm gonna ask you, Greg, as a police officer, it seems like everything out here is built on revenge. Like they did this to me and I'm not gonna let it go. They have to go.
I wouldn't look at it as revenge, man.
Not really revenge. It's from as long as I was gangbanging, we never looked at it as revenge. It was just the code of retaliation of what you do. They hit us, you hit them.
Well, that's revenge, ain't it?
We didn't look at it like that.
You look at it like, man, there's no other choice.
We looked at it like this is the code. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, it was never like the suggestion. Oh man, we finna get revenge on these mo. No, it's what you do. Somebody come through blasting or jump the homie or do whatever. Mm-hmm. If you didn't, was more of you niggas is busters.
Exactly.
Y'all didn't go back and. Them niggas jumped the home, and it didn't even have to be a drive.
And that played a big part with the South Sides, because if they didn't go and do what they had to do, mm-hmm. then they'd have been looked at like that. Puffy would have been like, man, they whooped your nephew and y'all motherfuckers didn't do nothing. Man,
exactly.
Y'all get away from us. Y'all winnies.
Well, people on the outside look at it in the perspective of, well, that's some revenge shit. You know, they killed his friend, now they're going back to kill him. We looked at it as a shit. That's what you do when you start banging and claiming the hood.
And they both took it.
Yeah, maybe revenge seems a little bit more where it's an emotional response.
Exactly.
Where what you're talking about, I'm assuming, is more of like, this is the business of it.
This is just it. Back in the day, Al Capone and them, one of they people get killed, the liquor get taken. They didn't look at shit like, oh yeah, we're gonna get revenge on them.
They came in the car with the Tommy gun.
This is what you do. Oh, they hit him? Now it's your turn to go hit them.
And if you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you might as well, you're supposed to be the boss and you didn't go take revenge. Oh man, kill that motherfucker. Next person step up.
Yeah, exactly. And in that culture, reputation is everything.
Exactly.
Because if you don't take revenge, you got these other people looking like, man, I don't been letting
They're going to come try to take your place.
Yeah, they're going to come try to take your place.
They're going to replace you.
Oh, nigga,
they're going to replace you.
They go
got your ass kicked and
you ain't calling the right shots.
So we got this whole thing, and it seemed like to me the one that was just the most innocent of them all that kind of got caught in the crossfire was Biggie.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
You know, like I really like when Biggie died, because I met him a couple of times before, and this before he got big. I saw him up at Prince's Club, Glam Slam.
I did a couple of shows with Biggie.
And he was a cool dude. It's like,
cool.
I remember him because he didn't seem like no celebrity type of dude. He was just real kickback.
Let me ask you this. With all of the shit that was going on, do you honestly say Biggie was sitting there saying, y'all keep me out of this?
No, but I
ain't
think,
got nothing to do with this.
Listen, I think
he
boss...
was riding with the bad boy.
Well, you got to remember this. Yeah, he was riding with bad boy, but at that time, Biggie wasn't calling no shots like that to connect this dot and get this and hang. I think he was just playing his role. He was with Bad Boy, so he was just kind of one of them things. He was there.
I mean, from the perspective of hip hop and music, it didn't look like his influence was much on the that shit. Mm-hmm. But behind closed doors, you never
know what somebody's saying.
Motherfucker probably sitting there like, them niggas too.
Because I know for a fact, man, Pac was ran up in Faith. I know that for a fact because I used to run with Syke.
Okay.
And he told me that she was at the hotel, and I guess Pac was staying at some kind of hotel, and she was up there frequently. And he came in the room one day, Pac, and he said she was in the bed, hair frazzled up, like she's got finished. So you thinking his wife get knocked down by his enemy, so you never know what was said behind closed doors. You just never know.
Well, I would have been mad, but I don't know. I ain't gonna talk about Faith. I don't know her, and what she did with Pac, because her and Pac was cool, and it probably was one of them nights where she was toe up and shit happened. But he accepted her back, and they was doing their thing.
The females get emotional over shit. You get what I'm saying? Who know what the situation is? But I don't look at that as a bitch cheat on you. You cheat on you. You know, I don't think that's gonna lead to, you know, a dude in that position.
Well, it's a combination of things. You got a dude talking bad about you. He knock your woman down, and he just pretty much smashing on you, humiliating you.
It don't make me want to kill a motherfucker. That's too weak of a cause right there.
That's
for
kind
me
of
to want to kill a nigga. I'm gonna kill a nigga because a motherfucker done did some evil shit and they coming after us. That's just like, I mean, I know it's a simplicity of back in the days. Niggas, some niggas would get killed over bitches in the neighborhood.
There's a lot of brothers in prison.
Behind
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But being in a position of a hip hop dude and, you know, publicity and whatever, I don't think, bitch, you the motherfucker, I'm gonna go the motherfucker too. It's not gonna be to the point of, because that's their mentality. I don't know what their mentality is from New York. I know what LA niggas would do or Compton niggas do. We just got that mentality. I don't give a
Well, and this is the bottom line to Biggie and Tupac. Everybody know what's happening. Everybody know who killed who. And yet, nobody went to jail behind it. Because I think politics plays a big part. Even with your investigation and what you did and then putting it out there. I went to Australia with him and listening to, the last one we did when I came, when you had the debate, how people want to twist a story, how people want to take credit for something, how people want to be mad over certain issues and they just jumped aboard on the situation or this and that happened. If you got the actual facts of what really is going on and documents showing what happened like you had, people still don't care. They still don't want to hear it. And people still want to talk about Biggie and Tupac when, man, those dudes are gone. They gone, and people should let them dudes rest. KVD put a book out and basically told the story. Did you believe that he was being like 100% truthful?
Yeah, well, I know he was being 100% truthful when I interviewed him because there was no motivation to lie. Once he started to kind of tell the story in a little bit different, I mean, it's the same narrative for all intent and purposes, but he did change a couple little things. I think when he put his book out, he said, Pac was going for a gun. Right. Yeah, of course, he never mentions that with us because we know that didn't happen. But he wants to build in a self-defense so that if he gets wrapped up on something, he can say, hey, man, this dude had in his mind, he's trying to either justify it or build in a defense going, well, the dude was going for a gun and Orlando shot in self-defense, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of bullshit, but it's still the same story. Orlando, Keefe, and the other two boys were in the car and they shot and killed Pac.
Right.
So I feel like he was telling the truth for the most part.
Yeah, you have that situation, man. They just, put a black eye on things, man. When you were working at Homicide, man, what was the main premise behind the majority of the murders, man? Was it revenge? Was it retaliation, jealousy, crimes of passion? Which one would you say was the biggest influence?
Well, within the gang investigations, it was always back to just street business. It was just like these guys are saying, it's just back and forth and back and forth.
Just occupational hazard.
Just occupational hazard. But there were a lot of those that did happen over some girls. There's some squabbles over a girl. She gets in the middle of something. Next thing you know, these guys are shooting and killing each other. A lot of it was dope related. He's holding their territories and stuff like that. And then, of course, a lot of homicides were domestic. So it all depends on what kind of, atmosphere we're talking about with these murders. A lot of prostitutes get killed, occupational hazard. And so it just really kind of depends on what we're talking about.
So being joining the cops, whatever, do you feel, being an officer, that some cases were investigated differently than a lot of minority homicides or LA Compton or whatever? Were there different approaches or effort put into different cases?
So yes and no. Like the intent to solve it is always there. You know, that's what a homicide investigator, he wants to solve his cases.
Okay.
You know, he wants to build his resume. I want to be known as a guy that can solve cases. I care about him because I want to solve them, either because it's, you know, it reflects on how good I am as an investigator. Most of us are empathetic towards the victims. Even if they're gangsters, we care about the families and the moms and the sisters and the wives and all of that. So we do. However, to the flip side of that point is the resources that go into a high-profile murder or some kid from USC who's playing football versus a guy down in South Central LA who got shot at the liquor store. It's the resources that make oftentimes all the difference.
From the streets to the yard, to the boulevard, Gangster Chronicles. Well, all right, y'all. All across the USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA, Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that Killa Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangster Chronicles.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangster Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Stairs.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the G's.
You know we represent the G's, never no wannabes.
Gangsters, hustlers, players on the go. Tune in like every week.
If you wanna hear the real, well, you done come to the right spot. Gangster Chronicles.